Welcome to the ArmaniTalks YouTube channel. I'm your host, ArmaniTalks. In this channel, I'm covering communication skills for you to level up your way with words, become much more articulate. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about why people join cults. Did you ever watch the show Boy Meets World growing up? That was one of my favorite shows. It was about a boy named Corey tackling middle school to high school to college to eventually the world. And Corey was accompanied by his friend named Sean. Corey came from a very stable house, while Sean came from a destructive background. His dad left him, his mom left him, he was hopping from house to house, no one loved him. And there was this one episode where he ends up joining a cult. And when the consumer is watching Boy Meets World, they're thinking, yeah, I would expect a guy like Sean to join a cult. I mean, it's always these guys that come from troubled backgrounds, right? Not always. Because we have to realize Boy Meets World was simply a show. Sure, in the real world, a lot of people from broken homes do join cults, but a lot of smart people, considered as smart by society standards, also join cults. These groups that have radical beliefs that shield them from the outside world. Why? Before I answer that question, I want to talk about something that's very dangerous, and that is to glorify someone's thinking processes. Picture the smartest guy that you know. In one part of their life, they are a grade A dummy. There was this one time when I was on Twitter and I checked something. I'm going through my feed and I noticed someone tagged me in a post. This person who tagged me in the post turned one of my former blogs into a picture. And basically this blog that I wrote were a couple of the best public speaking books to read. And one of the books that I included was a book called The $1 Million Speaker. So he basically got all these different books, created an image out of it. He tagged me and a few other famous speakers. And one of the famous speakers that he tagged became irate. He was like, I would never read a book called The $1 Million Speaker. Shame on whoever wrote this blog post. I was like, what did I do? And this famous speaker was bashing this post for some time. And I thought, okay, eventually things are going to die down. But this famous speaker, what happened is that he had a vendetta against this post for the next 3 months. And I'm talking about the interval of every 3 months. This guy would retweet that post to his large audience. He wrote this book a long time back, and apparently he's this very famous guy. So he would retweet it to his large audience. But not only that, he would retweet his individual comments on that post to his large audience, bringing in further attention on how much he hated that post. And I'm thinking, this is one of the weirdest guys that I've ever encountered online. The fact that he has such a big audience alarms me, right? So I tried to close that chapter of my life. I actually muted the guy. And then one day, roughly a year has passed since that debacle. I'm going through YouTube and I have this one talk that I want to talk about, which was talking about the importance of taking action. And I was thinking about, did anyone ever articulate what I'm articulating right now? The video was uploading and I'm saying, who else talked about this? I searched certain keywords, which I'm not going to say because I don't want to dox this guy. And what happened was that famous speaker, rather than now seeing him on Twitter, I see him on YouTube. And he has a huge body of work. I'm thinking, all right, weirdo, let me check out one of your videos and see what you stand for. So I'm watching his videos and I'm serious when I say this. He is an amazing speaker. Not only is he an amazing speaker, his philosophy in regards to hard work resonates with mine. Not just hard work, by the way. He's talking about the importance of taking action. Quit all these thinking and all of that stuff. Focus more on the action. Have a bias for that. And I was like, I like that, man. I like that. Now, here was a little pickle that I was in. I was like, your YouTube version is so brilliant. It's so smart. But your Twitter version is so weird. It's so unhinged. Which one is the real you? You see? Which one is it? And this is when I learned that it's highly dangerous to ever glorify a man or woman's thinking processes, because they may have a YouTube side to them, this genius side, but you don't know about their Twitter side, the unhinged side. And this is what brings us back to this cult discussion. A lot of people that end up joining cults are only focusing on one side. They're not necessarily aware of the other side, and this is causing them to further solidify themselves in this belief. Now, with that being said, what you want to really be mindful of whenever someone says, oh, that's just a cult. A lot of people will just throw that word out there with anything that they disagree with. And that's a problem. A lot of cults may be bad, but a lot of cults are good. And this is the side that you don't hear about. A few years back, when I was trying to wake up at 5 in the morning, I needed this motivation to keep waking up early, because me just doing it by myself wasn't cutting it, and none of my friends wanted to do it with me. So one day I discovered this community, I forgot the name, I think it's 5 a.m. club, something like that, where all the different members, they wake up at 5 in the morning and they talk about it. They encourage each other. The admin of the page is posting motivational stuff to inspire you to keep waking up this early. And I'm like, I like that, right? Every now and then an outsider will come in and be like, come on, man, why 5 in the morning? Why not 8? Why not 9? Why not sleep until the day? And this was a different line of thinking, but we're like, no, none of you whiners are allowed here. This is a cult strictly for self-improvement, and we're going to keep it like that. We're going to keep motivating ourselves to deepen this relationship with the 5 a.m. ritual. And we understand that there's other perspectives, but we don't give a damn. So there's bad cults that make people do destructive things. If the net, we always want to decipher a cult in relationship to society. We don't just want to evaluate the cult for the cult. Okay, we want to do its relationship to society. So in that aspect, you could say people who use the Apple products, this is a cult. These are people with hardened beliefs that most likely if you go up to an Apple guy and you say, hey, did you know that the Droid has a faster operating system, blah, 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 all this technical knowledge? They are going to tune you out. They don't care. They actually view Droid users as the enemy at times, right? But we don't just want to evaluate them as a standalone product. We want to see Apple in relationship to society. Are they providing a net positive or a net negative? And you're going to have to look at both sides. You could be like, oh, well, they're underpaying a lot of their overseas employees. But the positive is that they're interconnecting the world in ways that we never knew before. And after you keep weighing the pros and the cons, that's when you can decide if the cult is a net positive or a net negative for society. But if the cult is just making people poison themselves and die at an early age to do some weird stuff, and it's just killing off members, then the chances are that the cult leader, he's convinced a large group of people that only his YouTube side exists, only the good side of his thinking process, not the dark side. And these people are brainwashed in a dark, dark way. This is not the cult that is like the 5 a.m. club. So cults have a lot of nuance to it. People often join it with their own will because they want to improve a certain part of their life. They're aware of other opinions, but they're like, no, I am just going to improve this part of my life. I'm willingly joining this cult. Other times, cults are all around us. Any brand that you see is a form of a cult, and we want to evaluate, is this providing a net positive or a net negative to society? And if it's providing a net negative to society, chances are that there is a cult leader or leaders who have brainwashed a large body of people to only think that they know how to think properly. And these foolish people, unfortunately, have glorified this cult leader or leaders' thinking processes. You never want to do that with another human being. So if you enjoyed today's talk and you want to get more detailed breakdowns like this into cults, into psychology, into human nature, and much more, be sure to check out the ArmaniTalks free daily newsletter. In this newsletter, you will learn more about public speaking, social skills, emotional resilience, and much more, join the tribe by checking out the link in the description box, the pinned comment, or go on ArmaniTalks.com/newsletter. Sign up today. Thank you very much for joining the Armani Talks YouTube channel, and I'll catch you next time.